Okay, there's the note.
We're live now.
Great. And you can start opening up the door and then just let Chris know 5 seconds before. Yeah.
We are live right now. Starting in 3, 2, 1, go.
Good evening, everyone in India. Good morning, everyone here in Toronto and Canada. Welcome you to Together 4.0. We're back again, our 4th edition of the Together mission, and we couldn't be more excited. I'm joined today by my co-host, Oshika, and from Startup India. You're going to hear from her in a moment, but just as we start out, just a little bit of a word for myself. I'm Chris Carter. I'm the Executive Director of the Office of Innovation and Entrepreneurship from the Schulich School of Business at York University. This is the 4th edition of Together Mission, as we said. Started off as an opportunity for 2 countries, 2 startup ecosystems, 2 organizations to team up during the pandemic and do something really special. You know, originally when we first started out, the idea was we would have a competition between the 2 countries, between the 2 academic ecosystems. But we came up with a better idea. What if we were to all team up and help these amazing young student entrepreneurs, these social entrepreneurs in India, to get behind their businesses and do great things? You're going to hear from some of the people today who are helping make that happen. You're going to hear from one of the past finalists, 2nd place finisher from back in 2021 when we first started. And we're going to take you on a little bit of a journey as we kick off, a journey of inspiration to hear about, you know, what it is that we're working to do together and this mission that we're on to do great things. You know, it's a lot of fun coming together with the team from Startup India. They're an energized group. They never stop working. Man, they have so many initiatives that are going on that are amazing all across the country as they're building this amazing powerhouse startup ecosystem from India. And I'm really excited to be joined today by Oshika, my co-host, with greetings from Startup India. Oshika, how's it going in India this evening for you? And are you ready to go?
Thank you so much, Chris. It's going absolutely great. And we're so excited to be doing this. Just want to extend a warm welcome to everybody who's joined in. You are in for an amazing day ahead. As Chris said, you know, power-packed, filled with insightful sessions. And as we all know, like just like the previous editions, even the 2023 edition of the Together mission has been incredibly impactful. And we're just really excited for what's to come under the program.
Amazing. We're going to kick off with a big thank you this morning to some of our important community supporters who have helped to make this happen. You know, as part of the competition, there's going to be a first place prize, a minimum of $10,000 Canadian, and then $5,000 for the 2nd place team finishing. So we're excited about that. And many of our sponsors and supporters have come together to help make that happen. The City of Toronto, the Consul General of India, of course, our partners at Startup India and Invest India, and then a really wonderful group of partners, corporate partners that you can see here. In particular, admittedly, Tangentia, Investor Quotient Canada, Tide Toronto, R&D, and many more, Truly Financial, Foreign Admits. All these organizations have stepped up to help us out. And really, you know, when you think about it, when you get behind a student-based initiative like this, yeah, there is an opportunity for these organizations to share their names, but it's really because they deeply care about the students and they want to see amazing things happen. So many of them have been involved now for repeated years. We've got some new partners coming on board, people who have been around for many years, like Hostel Fund with Anchor, who runs Hostel Fund, and we really appreciate their support. You know, Oshika, we also have some important resource partners as well that Startup India has organized for the students. Maybe a quick word on them.
Thank you, Chris. Yes, so we have AWS Startups, Freshworks, Zoho for Startups, and Standby as our resource partners for this program. And they have been incredibly helpful till now for all the Together 2023 and even past editions. And I'm sure that the startups who are selected as part of the program, they would benefit a lot from these resource partners.
Yeah, it's amazing to have this group with us. And Oshika, just before we move on and welcome our first speaker, I just wanted to let you know it's amazing. I've been seeing the chat in the WhatsApp groups through the weekend. Many of the teams have already they're already started. They're raring to go. You know, the competition that kicks off today in terms of the opening ceremonies. And tomorrow we have the beginning of the boot camp and the official scheduled times that we have going on for meetings with like mentors and some additional training that we're providing. The students have really been on a journey over the last month and a half where they've started off by applying. Almost 200 amazing applications came in from across India, from institutions right across the country. And then we had to bring that down to a top 100. We had to bring that group now down to a top 17. And I'm really excited. I've taken a little sneak peek at the applications myself to see the top 17. And it's quite a group that we have. It's going to be a lot of fun to work with. And I just can't wait to see who's going to emerge as the champion as we go along here through the week. Everything building up to the championships and the final presentations that they'll make in front of the finalist judges, one of whom you're going to meet today, everybody, Nema Badeo, with some of his comments. So I think that's a good point for us to kick off and to get into the start of the content today and to speak with our opening guest.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Chris. And without any further ado, I would like to invite our first speaker for today, Ms. Naya Saggi. Naya is the co-founder of the Good Glam Group, a digital-first beauty and personal care conglomerate built on the flywheel of content, creator, community, and commerce. In 2015, Naya founded Baby Chakra, which went on to become India's most trusted parenting platform with the vision of making parenting easier. And since then, Baby Chakra has been consistently recognized as one of the top pregnancy and parenting technology products by global tech powerhouses such as Google, Facebook, Microsoft, as well as by international tech and health publications such as Healthline, Inc., etc. And these are just to name a few of her achievements. Naya is herself a Harvard Business School graduate, where she was a Fulbright and Tata Scholar. Naya has always been a tech enthusiast. Prior to that, she was a management consultant at McKinsey and the Bridgespan Group, where she worked extensively in scaling healthcare and education ventures. Naya, we're so happy to have you here. Thank you so much for joining.
No, it's my pleasure, Ishika, and what a fantastic initiative. So sorry, there's a lot of movement at my end, but I'm actually on the road. And I think I hope it's not making people dizzy. But, Ishika, I was so excited to be part of this because when you mentioned it's actually a lot of entrepreneurs who for many of them, it'll be their first venture. I was remembering the time when I was building Baby Chakra. And, I think it's wonderful that there is such an amazing set of partners coming together to support many, many first-time entrepreneurs. Chris, you mentioned 200 applications, out of which 17 people shortlisted. That is crazy, right? That is absolutely crazy. It just goes to show how successful the program already is. And, all the best to the 17 who've been shortlisted for this. I'm going to rewind a little bit and tell you about my journey as a first-time entrepreneur. And it's now an older journey. It's an 8-year-long journey. When I look back, I moved back from Boston to Bombay, as I put it, right, with the aspiration of building, a global consumer tech brand from India. And at that point in time, I don't think there were as many resources as we have today in schools and colleges, in professional settings. And I think still the commonalities of what I think really benefited me still hold, right? It's more structured today, fortunately. And the commonalities are 3. Right? The first thing you have to do as an entrepreneur is really figure out your team and how to motivate your team, right? And how to find your team. So as an entrepreneur, you're constantly just selling yourself, your vision, your entrepreneurial drive, your ambition with what you're building to potential team members. I think that's the first pitch you end up doing as an entrepreneur, in fact, right? And it's the most important pitch you'll ever do, because when you have the right team in place, building your company is it's a lot more easy, but it's a lot more fun as well, because it does get very difficult. The second, of course, big part of the puzzle, as we all know, is the whole funding ecosystem, trying to understand it better, trying to see whether funding is even the right answer for you in many cases. You know, in the very beginning, we were very lucky at Baby Chakra, though we got, you know, a slew of funds to sort of invest over time, right from angels, right from friends and family to angels to venture funds, right? We also benefited tremendously from participating in competitions such as these and contests such as these, right? And even accelerator programs. Because what ended up happening as a result was number one, you know, you get exposed as a brand. You know, you're trying to build your startup as a brand very early on, right? So having access to you know, programs such as these, people get to know about you in the ecosystem well, and it's a great segue into then practicing your pitch, practicing, you know, on different stakeholders, what your USP as a business, as an entrepreneurial team is, right, and why your right to win exists. And then that essentially framing and, you know, really making you successful over time in your more, you know, your later fundraisers and your fund pitching competitions and your contests and your conversations, right? So use every opportunity you can get, I think, in this overall experience to really practice your pitch, really practice your USP, really practice what gives you the right to win, the right to succeed in an extremely competitive environment, right? And why your business deserves that attention. So the second piece, of course, was fundraising and the whole investor conversation. And the third, of course, and I can't emphasize it enough, see, entrepreneurship has been a very lonely journey, will be a very lonely journey. And for me, I think a lot of communities of entrepreneurs, of accelerator programs, of contests is where I found peers, right? And, you know, if you look around you, I'm sure you're, you know, Chris mentioned an amazingly, I think, prolific WhatsApp group. I'm part of many WhatsApp groups myself. And when the chips are down, trust me, one message in one of those WhatsApp groups of peers, right? And I get all the support I need. And likewise, right, when we have, you know, stuff to celebrate as entrepreneurs. I remember when we, at the Good Glam group, you know, when we acquired Baby Chakra. And then, of course, when Good Glam turned unicorn, you know, my WhatsApp groups where I'd shared a lot of, I think, the lowest points I'd experienced as an entrepreneur were buzzing with congratulations and celebrations, right? And right back. I mean, I've seen my fellow entrepreneurs go through very similar journeys. So, you know, make the most of also these peer experiences because in some sense, you're also starting this journey together. And it's a special journey you're all, you know, about to undertake. So, yeah, so I think, you know, always be pitching to team, to investors, but also more importantly, like always be building a relationship with peers and maintaining them over time. So, yeah, so that's about it from my end. You know, happy to answer any questions later. And all the best to everybody. You know, please, just one last thing, just remember the ecosystem is watching out for all of you, right? It's in all of our interests as Startup India, of course, but also as the startup ecosystem in India, as founders who've been a couple of years ahead in their journeys, to watch out, to support all of the folks who are entering the ecosystem today. So, you know, don't hesitate to reach out to any of us, to me in specific, but to any founder whose journey you find interesting, who you want to reach out to for any learnings, or for just to, like, you know, bounce off a few thoughts, right? We're all open. We're all in this together. We're all building out the ecosystem together. So that's about it from me, Ashika and Chris. All the best.
Thank you, Naya. Those were great words. I love the fact that you're such a champion of people within the ecosystem helping each other, and students out there today watching, you have an open invitation now. I hope you're on LinkedIn already. By the time Naya was half done that sentence, I hope you were in there, like in there reaching out and connecting. You mentioned the importance of team. They're going to see that here in this week, right? Where they have, like, you know, a compressed time schedule. In really every year that we do this, it's the teams that rally together and find that spirit together that really come out at the other end in the top six and in the championship final. They're going to get that chance to practice the pitch, as you said, in this forum. And we're really going to give them a community in a sense of, like, support and spirit around them, both from the Schulich students in India and Canada, and everyone like yourself, Naya, who showed up to rally around them to cheer them on. So thanks for sharing that. I couldn't think of a more perfect kickoff for the event. And thanks for joining us in your journeys. It didn't make us tummy sick at all. It added to the charm of the moment. So thank you so much. and good luck with the rest of your day. Next, we're excited to welcome our next guest. Now, I'm going to give him a special shout out because he is on the west coast of Canada right now. And for those of you who are rapidly doing all the calculations on the time zones and what time he must be in, I believe it's like 3 a.m. in the morning where he's in. I don't know whether he got up really, really early or whether he just never went to bed. But this is a gentleman, a Schulich alumni, a BBA from our school from 2006, and one of the most accomplished venture capital investors in the country. Prashant Mehta is a general partner at Panache Ventures, and they're one of the most active seed stage venture funds in Canada. In late 2002, Panache announced the closing of their $200 million Fund 2, continuing their stated goal, becoming the most active and best performing fund of its kind in the country. Prashant, we're really happy to have you here to bring remarks on behalf of Schulich alumni, the venture capital community in Canada. And once again, thanks for either staying up late or getting up as early as anyone in the event today. Welcome.
Thank you, Chris. Yes, it's early, but we're entrepreneurs. We're always working. So great to be here. Thanks for having me today. My name is Prashant Mehta. I'm a general partner at Panache Ventures. We're the most active seed stage venture fund in Canada. I've been building this fund since 2018. I'm happy to share a little bit about our journey. But first, thanks to Chris, Oshika, and the teams, the different teams working on this initiative. It's a fantastic initiative, and it was great to hear from Naya. Just heard a little bit about her journey and the challenges founders face. So thank you for all your support, and thank you to all the founders and entrepreneurs who are involved in going through this program. I think building connective tissues between two great technology ecosystems is quite exciting, and there's a lot we can work on together. It is a challenging time for the world today. We've just come through a pandemic. We are going through some challenging economic times, and then there are wars happening, and that is not lost on us, right? As founders, we have to constantly think about how we can change the world and help the world by building some great businesses and products. And so I encourage everyone here to think about your purpose and your mission of what you're building. It is important to, as Naila pointed out, it's sometimes tough to build a team and motivate them. In fact, motivate yourself, because it is a lonely journey. And what I've found in my career is to keep going back to your purpose. If you're having a challenging time, think about what drives you, think about your purpose and why you're building your company. And I think that will help you and continue to bet on yourself as founders and entrepreneurs. Nobody will give you anything. You have to figure it out yourself, and you have to build advisors and your mentors and peers and customers around the world. So my advice and encouragement to everyone here today is enjoy this program, learn from your peers, and continue to find and crystallize your purpose. In terms of my background and journey a little bit, just to pivot into that conversation. So I'm from Delhi, moved to Toronto 20 years ago to do my bachelor's degree at Schulich. And it was a grind, I would not lie. It's never easy to immigrate to any country and build your life and career from scratch. So all the founders and entrepreneurs on this call today, please, if you have questions about either building a company or immigrating to another country to build your company, please do reach out. I started my career in management consulting, then moved on to do product strategy at a big tech company, which led me into venture capital. And after a few years at an established venture capital firm, started my own venture fund called Panache Ventures with my partners. We're a team of 12 across the country. Very proud of our purpose, which is to find and back the most ambitious entrepreneurs in Canada. And we've invested in over 100 companies across the country over the last many years, several exits along the way, and we continue to build on our mission. So thanks very much for having me today. Have a great time. And Chris and Oshika, thanks again for organizing this. And I appreciate you having me today.
Thank you so much for that, Prashant. It was absolutely wonderful listening to you. Especially about finding your purpose and going back to your purpose when the times get tough, and as they will when you are on an entrepreneurial journey. But that was great advice, and at the same time, kudos to you for all the grind that you've gone through, from Delhi to Canada and then starting such an impactful venture fund. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks, Prashant. Okay, up next we have our next special guest, Naaman Badeo from Antler Canada. And Naaman has been a good friend of the program from day one for the Together mission, jumped in really early as a mentor, was in fact the mentor of one of the companies that you're going to hear from coming up later on, the second place finisher in the 21 championship. And he's also been a speaker, helped us with training in the classes, and is a finalist judge as well too. So students, get ready. You'll be meeting Naaman coming up if you're in the top 6 just in a few days from now. Naaman has founded multiple businesses in travel technology, including Flight Network and TripStack. Now currently he's working in the early stage VC space through Antler Canada, where he's one of the partners and building the next big wave of tech companies in Canada. Naaman, thanks for joining us this morning, and we're looking forward to your remarks.
Great. Thank you for the kind introduction, Chris. Founders, this is my 3rd year with the Together program. I'm honored to be speaking to you today. And as Chris mentioned, one of the finalist judges. My name is Naaman Badeo. I'm one of the general partners at Antler, early stage VC company. That's a global VC company in 25 countries. We invest in founders, what we call day 0 founders. So solo founders looking to find a co-founder who have an idea at the very earliest stage. And we invest in those founders to find co-founders to help build their business. What we look for is founders that want to solve big problems. And that's what we look for in this competition as well as a judge. My time being part of Together, the founders, especially the finalists, are solving the problems that we feel affect millions of people. And I went back and looked at the finalist videos from last year's presentations when I was a judge. And I was reminded not only of the scale of the problems being solved, their commercial viability, but also how it would better the lives of millions of people. So whether it was predicting weather to increase food production, saving water from leaked pipelines, saving food waste from better storage, or to help the billions of people on the planet with disabilities to find better employment. I also have a really personal connection. Obviously, I was born in Nairobi to Indian parents who are from Gujarat. And so a connection with, the teams and the founders in India and the Startup India program. With my company, Flight Network, we had 700 employees, and half of them were in India, located in Mumbai, Pune, and Ahmedabad. So a frequent visitor to India, working with great people across technology, marketing, finance, customer service. One of the other interesting things I find is, the connection between Indians and entrepreneurship. Both my parents were entrepreneurs, and I feel like I grew up around that. One of the interesting things about Antler is we run a cohort type model. We're in our 4th cohort right now with 63 founders that we work with for 10 weeks. We're in week 7. So it's a big week for us as we get close to the end of our 10 weeks where we make our investments. And I had the team kind of go look at our founders, and 19 of our 63 founders are immigrants from India. This was out of 2,800 applicants, where we try to remove all bias and just take the best people. And it seems to be that entrepreneurship is woven into the fabric of many Indian families and many Indian founders. And it's a pleasure to work with you founders here at Together. It's a pleasure to work with them at Antler as well, and really looking forward to that. My first year, as Chris mentioned, I was a mentor to Rick's, which was really interesting to work with those great founders, which I'm excited that you're going to hear from them later today. And it was interesting, just over the course of a week, where they started with, building, great business, but how they deliver that message. And, they were recycling plastic, water bottles to create a better brick, both issues on clean tech, not only to recycle the plastic, but to make a stronger brick. I'll let them kind of tell you all about that. It's a really interesting story. But one of the things that we think we helped them with, especially the Schulich students, was defining exactly the problem that they were trying to solve. And so really, my advice to founders is that, right at the beginning of a presentation, whether it's a deck or a verbal presentation, you should be able to simply explain the problem you're going to solve. And so people really understand it. They don't need to ask questions. You can think of yourself, having a coffee with somebody that you've just met, that you can really distinctly, clearly explain that problem. And also working with the Schulich students to take that first version of the deck and the messaging to what ended up being the final version, and obviously a second place finisher. So, the message with the Schulich students and hopefully a little bit of my mentorship was able to communicate to that judges in that short amount of time that you have. So what do I look for as a judge? Kind of what I just said before. Can you simply explain the problem? We also look, can you prove product market fit? A lot of the times you think you have a good idea, but have you gone out there and talked to the people you'll be selling to? Have they given validation that it's a big problem? It's a game changer solution that they're willing to pay for. We look for, are you the team to solve this problem? Do you have founder market fit? You don't always have to have that. Do you have experience? And if you don't, do you have curiosity in the area that you're looking for? Do you devour all information, read everything about the space that you're in? Can talk circles around the judges, about the problem solving that you're in. We look at you also personally, not only as a team, but, as founders. 35% of all unicorns pivot. There's so many unexpected things that happen in the journey as a founder. So you take, for example, ChatGPT and OpenAI, how much that's affected the landscape. So even for us, you can never predict something like that. So we have an ed tech startup that is really negatively affected by it because students are using ChatGPT more than their product. But we also invested in a company working in AI with large language models and using OpenAI to help the 300-year-old franchise industry answer questions better for their franchisees. We look at teams for complementary skills, and then we look at trajectory, or I do. One of the things is that how much have you accomplished and how fast? At any one time, I feel many teams around the world are potentially working on the same idea. It's not that often, one team has a unique idea that no one in the world is working on. Are you going to be able the one to show trajectory to win? You don't always have to be first, but are you learning? Are you testing? Are you iterating? We look at market size, when we're making investors. And then the important part is, how do you handle questions? How do you take feedback? Are you coachable? And I think that's an exciting part of this process here when you get questions from the judges. So one of the things is that, Antler and myself personally really believe that, the world needs more founders and founders change the world. I feel that technology betters the lives of all people, whether it's to live longer, to get transportation easier, to entertain us. But too few people build startups. In North America, there was 7,700 startups last year. Assuming 2 founders, that's 1,500 founders, which is just too few. Startups are the best engine that society has of solving new problems. And the only way a startup can be successful is to solve problems that people are willing to pay for, which means they're big problems to solve. And if we don't increase the number of founders in the world, the complexity of the problems we need to solve will outrun our ability to solve them. And that's one of the most important things we could do, is to ensure bright and hopeful founders like yourself, have the most opportunity. And it's an incredibly hard job. The founders that we work with, have to quit their job, no income. If you're a founder in the USA, you lose your healthcare benefits. You've got to find a co-founder. You've got to build in isolation. There's 1,000 pieces of advice online or in books, but maybe half of them are right, maybe half of them are not. And that really makes it a difficult path to be a founder. And so, really respect all of the founders that participate in Together 2023, and applaud all the courage that you have, to take this opportunity and build. To the top 17s, know that with 100% certainty, there will be challenging times in your founder journey, especially even over the next 4 days. You've chosen this path, and resilience is one of the biggest attributes you need to rely on. You're solving big problems, never been solved before, and you must look at it as a challenge and stay positive that you're the one to solve it. With only 4 days before the submission, there's not much more to change anything in the stage of the company that you're at and what you're building. but immense can be accomplished in this time on how you tell your story. In your decks and presentations and your verbal presentations, make people feel it's an immense problem, the way that you feel it. So the way that you feel it, make the judges and all the participants and people watching, and make us believe that, you and your team are the only ones who can solve it, and get us excited for the future. Thank you for listening to me. I'm really appreciative to be part of this program. And I'm really excited for Saturday, to meet the finalists and listen to their stories. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Naman. Especially thank you so much for the continued support from you, from Antler Canada. Like Chris said, this is your third edition of the Together program. And it's amazing how some of the areas that you mentioned, from energy to salvaging food wastage. So we do have applications coming in from young innovators who are in fact looking to solve the big challenges on focus areas that impact millions of people across the globe. So that's extremely inspiring to see. Also incredible to hear that both your parents were also entrepreneurs, and here you are inspiring the next generation of entrepreneurs. So thank you so much for everything. And with that, I would move on to introducing our next speaker, who's Apurv Chamaria, who heads the partnership solutions at Startups and Venture Capital team, Google India. Apurv also serves as a co-chair Diversity and Inclusion at G20 India and as a mentor of change at Niti Aayog. Previously, Apurv was the Senior Vice President and Chief of Staff to the CEO and MD of Tech Mahindra. Apurv's previous stints also include being the Chief Revenue Officer at TradeGain, the world's leading SaaS player in travel and hospitality, and the Vice President and Head of Corporate Marketing at HCL. Apurv has also been a member in the National Task Force on Startup Regulatory Issues under the Department of Promotion for Industry and Internal Trade. Apurv is also the author of 2 best-selling books, You Are the Key, Unlocking Doors Through Social Selling by Bloomsbury, and The Master of Growth Hacking by Random House Beckman. Thank you so much for joining us, Apurv.
Thank you, Oishika, and to all the people on the call. It's almost embarrassing when you hear someone speak about you like this. I have to put a reminder to send a very, very short note to Oishika next time. Very warm welcome to all the student entrepreneurs, and really excited that you're doing this program. I've heard great things about this program from Oishika, Shivangi, and everybody else at Startup India. It's a very, very exciting time to be a student entrepreneur anywhere in the world. Student entrepreneurs, particularly in India, and Oishika, I'm assuming everybody on the call is largely student entrepreneurs from India who are getting mentored by Canadian mentors. Excellent. Excellent. So student entrepreneurs in India can draw very valuable lessons from many of the startups we work with. And a brief given to me was to share the startup lessons which we have seen founders imbibe. So there are 4 lessons which I'll share with you, which I have seen founders exhibit in the ecosystem, which has stood them in very, very good stead. So the first is resilience and adaptability. Indian startup ecosystem is highly competitive and dynamic. And as student entrepreneurs, you have to be prepared to weather the storms of uncertainty. Learning to pivot and adjust business strategies in response to market feedback is often the key to success. If you're building in isolation, you're not taking feedback from customers real time, or you're waiting for the perfect product or service, you will likely flounder. It's important to ship fast, get feedback from customers and prospects, and build on top of it. A great example of this is of exhibiting resilience is Ola Cabs. It was founded by Bhavish Agarwal and Ankit Bhati. They've exhibited tremendous resilience and adaptability. When Ola started, they faced fierce competition from Uber, but they preserved, adapted its services, expanded into new markets, ultimately becoming one of India's leading mobility solution providers. Before Ola, Uber never allowed you to pre-book cabs in advance. Uber was always about you book a cab now and you get the cab. Ola was the first to disrupt it, allowing people to book cabs in advance. Uber in India never had intercity rides. Again, Ola was the first to exhibit and demonstrate and offer intercity rides to uh, phenomenal resilience, and they've emerged as the winner. They are the largest market player in India right now. Second is you really have to focus as student entrepreneurs on solving real problems. Often, it's easy to think your view of the problem is the real problem, but stay close to customers and figure out what are their genuine needs and pain points within the local context. It could be affordable healthcare solutions, access to quality education, improving rural supply chains. You have to ideally try to adopt your solutions and your business to societal demands. I wanted to give you a compelling example of a startup where Google is the investor. The startup's name is Adda 247. It's one of the few profitable edtech startups in India. And Adda 247 is focused on offering students a chance to learn and crack competitive exams offered by government. So if you want a government job, you go to Adda 247, they teach you. Uh, they've identified a real need. Anil Nigam is the founder. The critical need and the desire here is the desire of any common Indian to appear successfully in a government exam. And they're being able to do it in a very engaging and effective with a effective tech solution, catering to hundreds and thousands of Indians and running a profitable company. The third important parameter which all of you can imbibe in you is to learn how to network and collaborate. Indian startup ecosystem, most people who work in it realize that it's a very tightly knit ecosystem where mentors, advisors, investors, and entrepreneurs work with each other to offer valuable insights, resources, and support. Everybody is a call away. The unique thing about India is you might compete in the market, but you're also there to help each other, support each other. So make the most of it as student entrepreneurs. Reach out to your seniors who are either investors or entrepreneurs now. Engage with them, call them for college events, start building relationships with them. I wanted to give you a great example of collaboration. So Sachin and Binny Bansal were friends first. They started Flipkart. Uh, they worked through many ups and downs. Some of your best co-founders are actually friends. So, and it's fun, right? When you're working with friends, the hard entrepreneurship life does not seem hard because you're engaged, you're working with them, you're enjoying the journey. So when you think about collaboration and networking, think about how do you collaborate and network with people who become your friends and make the journey enjoyable. The last thing I wanted to leave you behind with is ethical and sustainable practices are going to be very important for startups. The modern consumer is very conscious of societal and environmental impact, making it essential for student entrepreneurs to build businesses which are going to prioritize sustainability and corporate responsibility. I wanted to give you an example of Zerodha and Nitin Kamath here. Zerodha is committed to transparency, ethical trading, and reducing the environmental impact of its operations. I hope some of these examples are going to remain with you and you're going to read more about them and learn from their stories. I always like to think if you want to build a large business, do things the right way. We often glamorize hustle and jugaad, but that hustle should be done with a long-term point of view in mind and with a view to creating large sustainable businesses with a moat versus any desire for short-term gains. There are a bunch of Google programs which startup entrepreneurs can benefit from. We run student entrepreneur clubs in many almost 28,000 cities, 28,000 schools, universities, and colleges across India. If any of your schools and colleges don't have this, please reach out to Aishika or me, and happy to get my team connected to the professors there and kickstart it. We run a very large and successful accelerator called Google for Startup Accelerator. Unicorns like ShareChat have come out of it. So we do 3 cohorts a year. 2 cohorts are for AI-based startups, and one is for women founders. So feel free to apply for it. And Google gives you the opportunity to network with the best VCs, founders. It's a non-equity dilutive accelerator. So the intention is only to help students. Uh, we run a fabulous program with Ministry of IT, MeitY, called AppScale Academy, which is meant for student entrepreneurs building app-based startups. So if you're building a mobile app-based startup, that's the program you should apply to. Our cloud credit program is very famous, especially if you're building on AI, where cloud consumption can be very high. You can get credits as high as $350,000. So please do apply and benefit from it. I wanted to leave you behind with some amazing student entrepreneurs who've benefited from the program we run with Startup India. The program is called Startup School. Almost 14,000 startups this year have attended it from more than 700 cities and towns across India. So there is a startup called Lukudu. Anil Balan has used the valuable product management frameworks and insights offered by the startup school to grow his revenue by 8-fold in 4 months. So that's phenomenal growth. Supriya Parashar from Skillster Employability Solutions has leveraged the deep insights about scaling businesses for niche audience to see a 10-fold increase in our user base. So there are many such examples like these. The intention is there is enough help available. So as student entrepreneurs, never feel alone. You have amazing universities like the one here on the call. You have Startup India. You have ecosystem partners like Google. We're all there to support you and help you become very, very successful and create a lot of impact. Thank you.
Thank you, Purv. I just have a couple quick questions for you, just to wrap up. Really appreciate and I'll share some thoughts on your remarks. But you've seen so many young entrepreneurs over the years, and for sure you've seen them in these types of competitions. What would be your thoughts on what really separates those that like rise to the top in a moment like this? What do you see as kind of like patterns and things that the students today could think about and how they use the next 4 days?
So I would say in any competition, it's very important to be memorable, because the nature is such that judges would be seeing 100, 200 pitches. I don't know how many pitches are going to be there. So storytelling leading to memorability is very important. Memorability in a positive sense. You want to be seen as thoughtful but memorable. So if you can practice and learn to present your ideas, your startup in a manner where people like Chris and Oishika remember it, learn to also, at times what happens is you're very close to the business. The judges, the investors might not be so close. So learn to explain it to a 3-year-old. If you can explain it simply, you've demonstrated that you understand it deeply.
Those are great. Those are great tips, and thank you for sharing those. You know, as I was listening to your remarks, a couple of them really stood out for me. One is you talked about staying close to customers, and students out there on the broadcast today. You have this week. It's remarkable what teams in past competitions have achieved in just a few short days in terms of finding people to interview, prospective customers, getting people to like put up their hands in testimonials. And 2, you talked about as well about that spirit of collaboration, reaching out to people. This group of students that'll be working together and mentors has an impressive network already of people that are connected to each other. So that's going to be tested, and you're going to use that in the next 4 days to find where you can get to and where you can rally support. Excellent words of inspiration. Thanks for joining us today. We love our partnership with Google India, and we'll look forward to connecting with you again soon. Thanks for the time.
Hey, we've got our... Sorry, please. I just wanted to wish all the student entrepreneurs all the best, and thank you.
Okay. Thank you for joining us today. We have our next guest up is Dr. Rhonda Lenton, the President and Vice Chancellor of York University. She is a tireless champion at York University for entrepreneurship. and I've had the pleasure of getting to work with her over the last number of years on building out our ecosystem here, along with the leadership team from Y-Space that are part of the partnership team on the program, and the team from the Lausanne School of Engineering at the Best Lab. Dr. Lenton, thanks for joining us this morning, and we're looking forward to your remarks. I know you've just returned from a wonderful trip to India, and we're looking forward to hearing a little bit about that as well. Welcome.
Well, thank you so much, Chris. Hello, bonjour, bonjour, everyone. Namaste. I'm really thrilled to be here. It's hard to believe that it's the 4th edition of the Together competition. The time seems to have gone by so quickly. But on behalf of all of us here at York University, I want to really acknowledge, Startup India, Invest India, the government of India for their support of this program. And Chris, I also want to thank you, and of course, Oshika, Ghosh as well, both of you, and everyone here today who has helped make this event possible. It seems like quite the quagmire of organization, I must say. I did just recently return from a trip to India, and it included a tour of 6 cities in about as many days. We were in and out, I want to say. We went to Calcutta and Bangalore and Chennai, Hyderabad, Mumbai, Delhi. The focus was really to explore how both of our countries can continue to strengthen our relationship and work together. We're equally interested in ensuring that there's no talent left behind. And how are we making sure that everybody who wants access to education, everybody who has a startup idea and wants to move that forward, that commitment to excellence, inclusion, empowerment in higher education, and to increase the diversity of students that have a university education. And having the opportunity to hear just briefly from some of the guests and presenters, it really solidifies the importance of events such as Together 4.0. And I'll explain why. Our future entrepreneurs, and you know better than I do, frankly, you're reckoning with a rapidly changing and polarized global environment. We've got the application of artificial intelligence, automation, the changing nature of work. And that's all paired with the rising geopolitical tensions, social inequality, pandemics, climate change, inflation. I'm a sociologist by training, and we refer to this situation as a polycrisis. And so the urgency of creating the conditions where people can take their ideas about how they can take on some of these challenges has never been more important. And the pace and complexity of these global problems also require us to think more broadly, but most importantly, to think more collaboratively, to bring together institutions, countries, governments, industries, and higher education partners so that we can combine our resources, nurture, invest, and really share the talent. To me, Canada and India are natural partners in this regard. We have shared values of inclusivity, democracy, pluralism, and a commitment to excellence in education and innovation to drive the positive change that we need to serve the well-being of all of the communities in our mutual countries and around the world. This is at the heart of the Together competition, which exemplifies many of York University's objectives, from cultivating the spirit of collaboration and teamwork and fostering connections with prestigious global partners such as Startup India, to empowering diverse students to transform their ideas into action. As home to one of the largest international and diasporic student and faculty communities from South Asia, York University has been consistently amplifying our engagement with Indian universities, industries, and government in recognition of our shared commitment to capacity building, knowledge mobilization, and sustainable development and innovation across all of our Indo-Canadian projects, which includes a campus in Hyderabad and a renewed academic exchange program with Jindal Global University and many others. We recognize and we applaud India's dedication to a prosperous, inclusive, and equitable future for its communities. The remarkable success of the Together competition has in fact inspired the launch of yet another activity, a Pan-India Entrepreneurship Study Program. And that was launched during my recent visit to India. And the idea is to have a program that will allow York students to go to India to gain exposure to India's dynamic entrepreneurship ecosystem and to benefit from experiential learning opportunities. This will build on the success of the virtual Together mission partnership between Startup India and York University. I'm just going to take a moment to express my heartfelt appreciation for all of the Together 4.0 student entrepreneurs and the mentors. By being here, each of you embody the kind of talent, the passion, the teamwork, the leadership that is urgently needed to resolve society's most pressing challenges. And to all the competitors, I hope you will take this unique opportunity to learn from others, to gain experience in a vibrant and inclusive innovation environment, and to use this knowledge to drive the positive change that's needed in all of your future endeavors. So I wish everyone the best of luck. Thank you so much. Merci, namaste, miigwech.
Thank you so much, Rhonda, for those wonderful, inspirational words. And, the cities you mentioned that you traveled to while you were in India, Calcutta, Bombay, Bangalore, Delhi, we do see a rising number of ideas and projects and innovations from schools and colleges from these cities. And it is thanks to such partnerships and initiatives like Together that actually enables these synergies to come forward, where ecosystem stakeholders across the globe are coming together to make a space that's more conducive to innovation. So thank you for summing it up all so beautifully. And the next time, maybe when you visit India with a larger number of York students, we should definitely meet and try to explore more such synergies. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, that was amazing. Thanks, Rhonda, for joining us. And next up, we have our next special guest, Lokesh. And Lokesh is the co-founder and CTO at Angerus. Angerus is one of our success stories from the Together Mission program, back from the very first year. And Lokesh is going to answer some questions and chat with us about his journey. We also, Lokesh, are glad to welcome you back. You also appeared in one of our classes recently, which was amazing. We greatly appreciate it. How are you doing today?
Yeah, thanks, Chris, for inviting me and for Together 4.0 team. It's always energetic for me to interact with this team. Am I audible, right?
Yeah, you're great.
Yeah, okay, great then. So yeah, we are progressing much better than the before how we were on the 2021.
Before we kick off and get into the program, tell us a little bit. Two things. Recently, you attended one of our classes and you explained the story of your name, which I think for a lot of the students in India was like super clear, but a lot of the Canadian participants wouldn't necessarily know. And I love the story of that. And tell us a little bit the story of your name and in a nutshell what you're up to with the business, what you do.
So definitely. So the company name is Angerus, and this name was given after Sage Angira. So Sage Angira was the first inventor of the brick. So in ancient time, so Indians were supposed to perform the yajnas. That is a sacred altar they created out of the mud. It's a clay only. So from that clay, they did their yajna, and after that, when they broken that clay, and they found that this is a solid block came out of this clay only. So then they have developed a whole science of bricks, how to make a building material after the clay or raw materials. So from there, we tributed our company's name after Sage Angira, that we are making a new kind of brick out of the non-recyclable materials like a plastic, fly ash, and the slurry. So that's how we have tributed our company's name to Sage Angira. And again, the bricks is also our product, which we use. So we had given this name after a waste and the brick. So now the brick is called as a brick. It's a W instead of B, brick.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about your experience joining back in 2021. Take us back to that moment where you found out about the competition and where you were at that point.
Yeah, so at that time we just had incorporated our company just 2 months back only, and then I was registered with the Startup India. So we got the DPIIT certificate, and we were getting the notification from Startup India and Invest India their via emails. So when on the almost on the last day, I found that there is a competition, international competition is going on. So on last day, I thought this is something where I can participate. So I quickly gathered all the data and filled up the application on almost on 11:59, and I just submitted my application. And then few days later, we got the confirmation mail that you guys are you got selected for the together 21 competitions. So that's how we entered into it. And me and my co-founder, Miss, we were the civil engineers, so we were more towards the technical part of the things. So we when we found that the together team have assigned us the mentors and the three team members from York University and the Schulich. So initially, what I did, I went and to their LinkedIn profile. I pinged them. I told them that we are going to be a team. So I just wanted to know more about yourself, what you guys are doing. What's then we formed a WhatsApp group, and we before competition we started interacting with each other. So that's how we had started. And during the course of the 7 days. So the first day it was introductory kind of session. So then we met with each other and we explored the things, and some tasks were given to us. So then late night we were working with each other, and that day I get to know that who is going to play what kind of role. So from that day we had started distributing our work among ourselves. And then when the 7 days, means what day after day we were passing, so then we were exploring more about each other. So means as a leader, my most of my energy went into coordinating with the team and just to know where their specialties are, and who can do what kind of processes better. So we had a very great team at that time. So that team had executed all 7 days, and that's how our journey was started on at that time. And after that, we got very crucial funds from the together that first season, and then from that fund we were able to survive on the COVID second wave. And now we are recently we were got called by the World Economic Forum, Clinton Foundation, New York, and we also won Thai Global pitch competition. So these were some recent achievement we got.
Thank you for sharing that. Oshika, do you want to ask a question next?
Yes, thanks, Chris. Hi, Lokesh. So nice to finally meet you. I do have a question for you. I want to understand, what has been your biggest takeaway from Together, and all the intense learning that you went through as part of the program. So what is that one thing that has actually, because of this program, changed your outlook in the way that you work?
So before the program, our major focus was on product development, prototype development, making machine working works, because we were from the engineering background. So our most of our mind or energies were going into the tech side only, but no one was focusing on the business aspects, like financial projections, like a cash flow, how it will go, what is going to be the capex, opex. So these were the jargons for me at that on earlier days. So when I went into the program and there was pitching, so before for preparing that pitch, we were exploring lots of financial terms. Means how we are going to project, what kind of data we have to collect, and what kind of valuation will come later on, how we will project our financial data, what will be the capital expenditure of operations. So these were very new thing for me, but that helped me later on when we went for the pre-seed round. So we were more aware about these terms, what investors are going to be asked from us. So that program actually started our business journey. Earlier, we were just a project kind of thing, and we just incorporated company, and we were just exploring the things. So that's how this program turned our mindset from just a project to a startup kind of a mindset. Yeah.
Hey, Lokesh, you were talking about your amazing Schulich team, the process of like, meeting them for the first time. And we have a special surprise for you today. Like we're live programming as we speak. We have Olivia with us today, who was one of your first team members. Look at the big smile from everybody here today.
Yes. Hi, Lokesh, and thank you, Chris, for the invitation. It's great to meet you as well, Oshika.
Olivia, for those of you who are meeting her for the first time, is a Schulich alumna and Senior Strategy Manager, Healthcare Delivery Operations with TELUS Health. And back then, she was a student at the school and joining the team as part of the very first competition. Olivia, maybe now you've heard Lokesh's experience. Tell us about yourself when you signed up for the competition and heard about it, what you were thinking, and what was it like for you?
For sure. And to what Lokesh mentioned, and to your point, Chris, I think a big part of the Together 2021 at the time was I want to learn, and I also want to have the experience of working with an international team, and being able to work with Lokesh and Kunjpreet, who are the two founders of now Angiras. I went in thinking, I'd love to learn more about their business, how we can better support, and working with Harman as well as Ramya, who were the other two team members for Schulich and Lassonde at the time. It was really exciting, and we went in with all our eyes and minds open. So that I think that really helped in getting the excitement going, which was a great part of being a part of Together 2021.
What do you remember really bringing the team together in terms of? I've talked many times that over the first three competitions, now here we are in the fourth one, that the teams that seem to rally together, bond together, get a spirit going together, tend to like make the biggest leap from like day one to the end of the competition. What do you remember about how you rallied together, or how Lokesh, led the team, how you led the Schulich side?
Yeah, I think what really worked well for us was that we really tried to build a relationship with one another instead of, hey, we're just in it for this competition. It was really about lifelong friendships that we were trying to build through the competition, which on top of all the work that we were doing together as a team, it was like we're all friends working together to help Lokesh and Kunjpreet with their business, right? So I think that mindset and that open-mindedness really helped and supported us from all sides. And I really like that Lokesh really took the time to ask the right questions, really wanted to understand from a perspective of Schulich students, hey, like we need help with these areas, and being honest and transparent with what support he required. So that really helped us on our end from the Schulich side to be able to support with the right areas as well. And also understand, what we don't know, because we don't know what we don't know until the founders also communicate that for us as well. So I think that open line of communication was really important.
Cool. Now I'm going to let each of you ask a question to the other one here live. So let's see what happens. We're going to have a little bit of like live experimentation. Lokesh, what's a question you have for following up for Olivia?
So she was always inspiring for me. She was more calm. It's not the question right now I have, but she was more calm and more. She was a leader within herself. So I was learning a lots of things from her. So that's the one question I wanted to ask her. How she developed herself like that. She was always calm, and she always had a plan in her mind. But she was continuously asking some more questions just to explore what other things or what other data she can collect from the founders. So that's how you have learned. That's what I wanted to know.
Yeah, that's a good question. Thank you, Lokesh. I think your question was twofold, which is, I guess, the hustle, which I think as all aspiring entrepreneurs and yourself too, Lokesh, I think we can all say and attest to and say, the way we develop hustle is that because we have a vision. And Lokesh, you did such a great job in laying out, this is our vision as Rick, and this is our vision now as Angiras. that really helped us say, oh, we're hustling towards X goal, and this is what we're going to achieve together. And I think that environment that you set, Lokesh, really helped us develop that hustle too. And the second question you had, which was always, staying calm and asking questions, is I've been a curious person, but I think as entrepreneurs, we can all also agree maybe to say we're always looking for, oh, why is this the case? Like the why behind a lot of what we're developing and building, or hey, why didn't that work out? Or trying to test out, oh, why didn't, X, Y, Z, or hey, why did that work well? And trying to figure that out. I think that really helped us as we approached Together 2021. And I imagine that's what's continued to help you as well as you develop and build Andrews.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, Olivia, now your question.
Yes, and for Lokesh, we've definitely been staying in touch through like WhatsApp, where I've been reading the articles that get published regarding Andrews. So Lokesh, I'm curious to hear like what is in plan for you and Kunjpreet in 2024? Anything exciting that you have coming up?
So yeah, we are setting up our actual commercial plant, the bigger one, the 10 times capacity of current one. So that's right now going on at our end. So we are going to raise next round for that. So that's currently going on.
That's fantastic to hear. That's awesome. And yeah, for everyone for 2020, or actually for Together as a whole, I think one thing that Lokesh and Kunjpreet both mentioned is that through the Together experience, like these are some of the opportunities, connections that you're able to build within Canada, within India, with various individuals. And that also, I would imagine, Lokesh, is a good kind of stepping off point for other opportunities too, right? So I'm so happy to hear that you have a lot of exciting plans you've got going on for next year and beyond.
Yeah. Thank you.
Awesome.
Hey, thank you both for joining us. And Oshika, would you like a word before I wrap up the session?
Sure, thanks, Chris. I just want to thank both Lokesh and Olivia. Firstly, Lokesh, there's no better way to inspire students who are attending the session and participating in Together 2023 than for them to hear the winner of, previous editions speak. And congratulations on the kind of work that you're doing at Angerus. The clarity and the passion with which you talked about your journey was incredible. And of course, Olivia, what a wonderful surprise it truly was to have you here.
Yeah.
About the impact that you've created for Lokesh, for Angerus, for the Together mission. Also, lastly, it makes me so happy to see that it's not just impact on the startups and the ecosystem that the Together mission is creating, but also on the relationships and bonds that participants are making along this journey. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Amazing. And
Truly.
congratulations, Lokesh.
Yeah, thank you, Olivia. Thank you so much.
Thank you both of us for joining this morning. And I want to say, to everybody who's watching, that was like a pure spontaneous moment of magic. Like sometimes certain energies come together when things are not pre-communicated, right? So literally Lokesh did not know Olivia was coming this morning, and Olivia did not know, because sometimes I don't throw random darts into the universe to see if we can have a special guest. And this was like an Instagram, LinkedIn call out about 45 minutes ago. So, what'd be cool? Would you like to join us this morning and surprise Lokesh? So thanks to both of you. I think everybody can see the magic in the smiles when they came on together. And this is what I want for all the students who are in the competition this year. This is what I want you to think about, is that as big as the learning experience is, which is amazing, and as big as the opportunity to win something is amazing, the opportunity to make friends across the world and for a lifetime is really, really cool while building something special. So thanks to both of you for joining us and helping to illustrate that today.
Yeah, it was lovely, Chris. And it was surprising for me. And just one thing for the participants: don't miss story time with the Chris. That's going to be I always going to be remember that thing. So yeah.
Well, you're free to join any time if you need another story. We'll come up with some new ones. Well, thanks again to both of you, and good luck with the rest of your days. And we'll continue on now. And Oshika, just a great fun morning with lots of really wonderful people sharing their wisdom, sharing their advice, and you know, letting the students like think about, you know, what not only the journey is in the week ahead, but in the years ahead as they build their business and build these relationships. A few thoughts from you, and then we'll hand over to our program manager Shrey to tell the students what happens next.
Sure, thank you. I truly agree, Chris. The kind of session that we just had today, I think it speaks volumes about the kind of impact that the program is creating, and it really sets the tone for how the next 4 days are going to be. So I think all the attendees, all the participants should be in and should be excited for a really interesting and a very impactful time ahead. And I would just take a moment to thank you, Chris, Shrey, and the entire team at Schulich for the relentless support that you've been providing, and for your passion, the way you work, the way you have been so passionate about catering to all the student entrepreneurs and to ensure that the entire program runs smoothly. It's incredibly inspiring. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. We appreciate that, and we appreciate our relationship with Startup India as well. Yourself, Shivangi, and the whole team have been fantastic from day one. And it's always never a never-ending surprise to me, where this incredible pipeline of talent within Startup India comes from, because every time someone gets promoted or moves on, another star emerges and appears, and you're this year's star to work with us. So we appreciate everything that you're bringing to the competition. I want to give a special shout out today as well, too, in addition to the 17 teams that have made it to this round, which everyone will be learning more about and hearing more about in the week ahead. I want to give a special shout out to the 2 classes from Schulich that are part of the program as well, too. They've been hard at work in the background, learning through their courses and preparing to come in and support the students. The two instructors for those courses, Jeremy Vo, working out of the India campus, and Cherry Rose Tan, working out of the Kiel campus here in Toronto. And those classes have been amazing. I've been sitting in on those sessions and participating as a co-instructor. And it's a really bright, inspired group of students that are coming to the table to help out. So thanks to all of you guys out there, the students on the call today, for your hard work through the course. And now we're going to see if you were leaning in and really paying attention to everything we were talking about, because you're going to get to test it in real time, live, with real companies. Big smiles out there. I like seeing that. I also want to say thank you and give a quick mention to something that Dr. Lenton brought up in her chat, which is we're really excited about this new student exchange program. I'll be working on that with Shrey, and starting out in a year from now, bringing students to India to have tour of the startup ecosystem and to learn about those possibilities. We're just going to keep building on this Together mission platform and program and making it even bigger and more impactful in the years ahead. Well, speaking of Shrey, it's time to welcome you to the stage and to thank you, and for you to guide the students through next steps. Shrey is behind the scenes the program manager on the Together mission. And let me tell you, there are at least 1 million points of action and inspiration and organization and booking and moments where we have to go and find the sponsors and find the partners and find the guest speakers and do all that work. And Shrey is the person behind the scenes who makes it all happen. Shrey, you've been doing a fantastic job this year, taking over, in the 2023 competition. You had a quick handoff from Vito, and now you are the lead on this. Welcome to the stage, and we're looking forward to hearing from you about what comes next.
Super excited to be here for sure. And then we have put in so much effort in the background just to create this seamless experience for all of you. Let me walk everybody here to what's coming next. Thank you for staying till the very end. So far, all the top 17 teams have been paired with students, Schulich MBA students from Canada and from Hyderabad campus. So next, as you know, we slowly progress to the competition. So right now we are on October 23rd, which is the opening ceremony. Tomorrow we meet again at 9 a.m. for a 2-hour duration, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern, or 6:30 to 9 p.m. Indian Standard Time. We'll have a fireside chat, and we have a venture bootcamp session. And followed by that, as we mentioned to you, that you have been paired with 2 mentors, one from Canada, one from India. We had pre-booked your mentor time slot. Please, I request all the student entrepreneurs and Schulich MBA students that are attending, please update the Zoom link and share that individually for each of your teams to those mentors. All of the mentors will be showing up in each of these sessions to support you and guide you through this journey. Just because these are the time slots that we are talking about, that doesn't mean that this is the only time that you're meeting with your fellow teammates. We encourage you to meet, coordinate. I know there are 2 different time zones. Please coordinate within yourself and create group timings that works for all the stakeholders so that you could brainstorm and you can work beyond these hours of learning and mentoring. On Wednesday, we have a bootcamp session where we more talk about presentation skills, because we are always preparing you to create that amazing pitch deck and a video semi-final submission, which is due on October 26th. Because we want to be there to support you, Chris and I will be doing an open FAQ session on 26th October at 10 a.m. Eastern, which is 7:30 p.m. Indian Standard Time. Any or all student entrepreneurs are happy to jump on a call, and we will help you clarify any of your doubts. Right after that FAQ session, you're followed up with your mentorship session with your mentors in your own private Zoom rooms. And at the end of the day, 3 a.m. is the deadline for Indian Standard Time to submit your application, semi-final submission, and 5:30 p.m. is the Eastern Standard Time submission deadline. And the very next day, we work around the clock to shortlist through our semi-final judges, top 17 to top 6. The very next day, we have a top 6 teams announcements. That's on Friday, October 27th. I want you all to take a screenshot of this. I would also be sending you calendar invites and all of your emails so that you have it blocked. And follow right after that, we have a mentorship session, which is 3rd mentorship session for the top 6 teams to help them just refine their semi-final submission to be ready for a live pitch competition. That happens on October 28th, which is the closing ceremony. And just because your team did not get shortlisted in top 6 teams, doesn't mean that we are not there to support you. We would love for all the student entrepreneurs that are attending, along with the students that are attending as part of different teams that did not make it to top 6 teams, to attend and support the closing ceremony, as there are amazing lineup of guest speakers, both from India and from Canada. And towards the very end, we announce the winners. Chris has already announced the prize pool for the competition, and that is just an incentive, but we have a larger picture here of learning, collaborating with international counterparts. With that messaging, over to you, back to Chris. Thank you, everybody, for staying till the end.
Well, thanks, Shrey. We appreciate all your work in the background and walking us through that. If anyone has any questions, please just reach out to us via WhatsApp. We're excited for the week ahead. Look, when you have an opportunity like this, you get a choice. You get a choice to make it through the week and do your thing and do a good job, or you have your choice as to whether you're going to rise up and do something special. And I would encourage everyone to take this week to do something special. Each of the teams that has gone on to be in the championship finals, each of the teams that have been the champions have received a ton of support. And the Schulich students have built lifetime relationships and wind up with a signature project on their name that becomes something that is known around the world for their time in the course and time at Schulich. So let's all remember our lessons. Student entrepreneurs from India, from the boot camps, students from the classes. Let's get ready for the sessions coming up, some important ones this week. And you know, we're in different time zones, we're in different parts of the world, but nothing will stop us from achieving an amazing outcome by the end of the week. I don't plan on sleeping, and I'm 52 years old, so I think the rest of you should be pretty good. Oshika, how about some final words from you?
Thank you, Chris. But I think that's the biggest takeaway. Like you said, if you're not sleeping, then we can't be expecting anybody who's attending it, who's a participant of the Together mission, to take this week lightly. But yeah, I would just like to, once again, thank everybody for joining in, like you said, despite all the time differences and everything. And it is incredibly hard to work around that time difference. And it's not just a matter of a couple of weeks, but the program spans months and months. So I would also like to congratulate everybody who has worked this hard on it. And yeah, thank you so much for joining, and hope to see everybody soon.
Have a great evening. Have a great rest of your day, everyone, and go. See you soon. Online tomorrow.